Welcome to .office Live. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to get set up and start hosting your own meetings. Fill out this simple form and hit submit. Step 2. After that you'll be taken to the login screen where you'll log in with the credentials you just created. Once you're in .office Live, go to Web Conferences icon in the top right corner. You'll be taken to an intro screen that gives you an overview. Click on the Manage Meetings tab. Today we're going to create a meeting, so you click the Create Meeting button. Put in the name or title of your meeting. Click Save, and you now have two buttons with two URLs beside them in the middle of the screen. Those are the URLs you use to join the meeting. You give out the moderator URL, anybody you want to be a moderator, and you give out the attendee URL for people that you do not want to be moderators. I'm going to click the Join as Moderator for now. This screen will allow you to put in your name to join the meeting. This is the Join screen. Click Join. Click on either microphone or listen. This will allow you to choose whether you want to just listen and not have your microphone active. Clicking microphone allows you to listen and talk at the same time. Now we've successfully joined a .office Live meeting. Since we're a moderator, we have control over what happens in this meeting. There are several features that make use of. One is the ability to upload a presentation. Presentations can be in PDF and PowerPoint format. Bitmap images are also supported. You can turn on and off the ability for participants to have a download icon to get a copy of the presentation. You can enable and disable, if you have more than one presentation uploaded, you can toggle between them by using this green check. You also have the ability to share videos from YouTube and other popular sites. You just get the URL to the video you want to share, paste it in here, and hit Share New Video. This screen will then start showing the video, and everybody will be watching at the same time. Another feature is sharing a webcam. You can share your webcam, others can share their webcams. There's a screen sharing feature. You click on this icon and you will see a pop-up that shows some options. You can show your entire screen. You can also show just a specific application window, or you can go to a tab in Chrome if you have a tab open that you want to show a specific web page. There's a recording feature. You can start recordings at any time, and then you can pause them by clicking it again, and when you're ready to resume, you can resume the recording. You can do that as many times during your meeting as you want. At the end of the meeting, when everybody's left, you can go back into .office and you should be able to see links to your meeting's recording. There's a whiteboarding feature. You can go to any slide in your slideshow and start drawing by selecting one of these tools, and you now can draw, highlight something on the screen. You can also, if you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, zoom in and out by scrolling your scroll wheel in and out, up and down. It's another feature to let you zoom in on something in a discussion and highlight. You can turn on a shared whiteboard where all the participants can draw at the same time. You'll see their name next to their mouse pointer. I'm going to clear the drawing. There's color selections. You can choose from colors, the size of your drawing pen, and whether you're using a freehand, a square, circle, or lines. You can also put text boxes. There are some options that you can set for your meeting. You can, as for yourself, turn on and off audio alerts that sound for various events, like someone joins the chat or sends you a chat, and you can turn these on. These are almost always off by default. I believe they're always off by default. Data savings allows you to globally disable webcams and desktop sharing if you have limited bandwidth. As a moderator, you have control over users in the meeting. You can have them all muted, and once you set that, they will stay muted unless they unmute themselves. If a new person joins, then they will be muted automatically when they join. You can turn off that mute so that it won't auto mute everybody, so you can turn that on and off. You can mute everybody except yourself. You can save all the usernames if you want to take like an attendance and keep track of who was in the meeting. The lock viewers allows you to turn on and off features that the participants have. You can turn off their ability to share their webcam, see each other's viewer webcams, share the microphone. You can disable the public chat and private chat. You can disable their ability to edit the shared notes, and you can disable their ability to see other users in the list of users over on the left. And you can turn those on and off at any time during your meeting, and it will enable and disable that feature at that time. That covers the majority of the features. When you're done with your meeting, if you're the moderator and you want to make sure that the recording gets generated at that point, you have the option of hitting the end meeting button, and that will kick everybody out and tell the server to go start generating the content for the recordings to be viewable. If you just log out and leave the meeting running, it will run until the last person exits the meeting, and then at that point, if there's any recording to be generated, that would start that process. I'm going to hit end meeting. I'm going to go back and show something in .office as the moderator of a meeting. So you go back into .office Live Meeting Management, and you can go back to the meeting you were controlling. You can hit edit, and this is where you would see recordings if there were any. They take a few minutes to generate once the meeting is over, and at that point there'll be a link in here you can click on and view the meeting recording. This screen lists any meetings that you have created. Each one of these records is a unique meeting URL. You can use one meeting URL to be multiple times, or you can have each meeting have its own URL. Depends on how you want to manage it. Generally, if you have a different group of users that you want to make sure that they never overlap, you would generate a new meeting URL for that meeting, and it becomes permanently dedicated to that meeting, like demo meeting or conference room or whatever you want to call it. At any point in time, you can come in and change the characteristics of your meeting. Let's say you started off with a reusable meeting URL that you go to it and it's always there. You can switch that to where it's only available on a certain date at a certain time for a certain period of time. Once that period of time is elapsed, that meeting will no longer be usable with that URL, and you would have to come in here and either switch it back to on demand, leave it unavailable, or change it to a new date and time and reuse it that way. This type of meeting is generally when you want to do a very specific meeting that's very private, that you don't want the chance of anybody that you've given the URL out to be able to get into it. You know, a personal one-on-one meeting that is private. You want to generate a unique private meeting URL and only give it out to the people that will attend that meeting. If you make it an on-demand meeting, it becomes more of a reusable meeting URL that the more people over time that you give out the URL, they can join in at any time. So just be aware that a reusable meeting, these meeting URLs are reusable, but you can control when and what times they're usable. Most people will only need a few meeting URLs unless they have, you know, a very specific need to create a bunch of them. You could just create one for yourself and reuse it over and over again, like a conference phone number. You know, it's always the same phone number and same phone pin. You can create your own meeting room, and it's always usable. You can further control your meeting by putting a PIN number. You can let the system generate a PIN, or you can put in your own PIN. That PIN will be prompted when people try to join the meeting. They will have to know that PIN to get into the meeting. If they don't, then they won't be able to get in. So if you have a meeting that you've created and you want to cut people out of the meeting at some future point in time, one option is to generate a PIN. The other option is to delete the meeting and create a new meeting URL. That would work also. There is an attendance log. This is more detailed than probably you need. Anytime anybody joins this specific meeting, their join is recorded by the server and sent back into .office Live for permanent storage. All their events, like when they become a presenter, when they join, when they leave, if they shared their screen, there's several events that are recorded in here. Server-side events are also recorded, like when the server decides to start looking at the meeting and determine whether to generate a recording. This is generally that command. So now we have a meeting recording. This recording took a few minutes to generate because once we left our meeting, the server still has to generate a video of the meeting. You can click on View Recording, or you can delete the recording. Okay, back. There is an Invitee tool in here that you can search and add names to send out the attendee URL. You can change this message to whatever you want, and this really is just a way of sending emails. It doesn't control who gets access. It won't block someone unless, you know, it's not going to control them from getting into the system. It's if they get the URL, they can get in. So this is just a way of sending out notifications about this meeting if you don't want to use your own email. Another detail, aside from having a title, you can put in like an agenda or some information about your meeting. This is for the email. This describes it in email. Down here, this really shows up in the meeting in the shared area where the chat screen and the phone numbers show up. Demo. I'm going to hit save. Okay, now since there's no one in this meeting right now, I should be able to join it and see this is a demo show up. So I'm going to hit join. My name, microphone. There's what that text that I typed in that screen shows up after the information about the phone dial in. Then whatever you put in that text box will show up in here. So you could put in meeting notes and agendas that you want to show when people first come in. Since I left myself running in that meeting, it will stay there for a few minutes before it will decide once I'm idle, it'll kick me out after a few minutes. I'm going to go back in here. And so while the meeting is running, this information won't change until the next time the meeting stops and a new meeting is started. Then this information will be pushed into the meeting. And that's pretty much it. Really all you need is a title, leave all the defaults, and copy these URLs and give them out to the people you want to be in the meeting in that mode. You know, most people you're going to send out as invitees or attendees. You can have multiple moderators. You can have everybody be moderators. But generally speaking, you want to save that URL for yourself and have everybody else join as an attendee. So you can click this icon, this little clipboard icon, and it will copy that into your clipboard, and then you can, you know, paste it into email or whatever you want to paste it into. It just generates a copy of that meeting URL for you. And that's pretty much it. At this point you have a meeting room and you can use it over and over again. And that covers the basics of .Office Live.